Anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
So a little bit of background on this hike. It was right on the West Virginia border. So when you hike on the top of the ridge, you're literally right along the state border. So that's pretty cool. And you look out over one side, it's some hollers and stuff in West Virginia, some little houses. You look on the other side, valleys in Virginia, and some hollers, of course. The trailhead itself doesn't have very much parking. I think there's enough room for maybe 4 cars. I tried to back in to be courteous of other cars. So that was definitely a downside. We went on a weekday though, so it wasn't very crowded. And then when we started off at the bottom, we were just getting swarmed by all sorts of flies and gnats and different things, which I haven't really had happen here in Virginia or on the East Coast. So we were constantly swatting away bugs, at least during the lower elevation of the hike. The trail itself was just extremely rocky, which you can't do anything about. It's nature. But I've never been on a trail that was so rocky before, other than Mount Pilchuck in Washington State. But this trail was just split rocks and everything like that. And I rolled my ankle a few times. I mean, you constantly were having to look at your feet and watch where you're going, and you're, slipping and that. So that part was not enjoyable. Most trails I've been on the East Coast have had some rocks, but mostly dirt trail, but really not anything you can do about that other than not go to that trail again. So we got to the top of the trail, or the top of the ridge, and we thought it was the end. The sign said that it was another mile to the Big Schloss rocks. Trail at the top of the ridge that was a mile from the top of the ridge to the actual rocks itself was pretty overgrown with brush, and I wish I had brought my machete or something. It wasn't that bad. It was just a dirt trail, so it was a lot better than the rocks we were rolling our ankles on before. But we saw the Big Schloss rock outcropping pretty soon after we started hiking along the ridge, and we're like, oh cool, we're close. Nope. Kept walking and walking and walking, looking for the trail that shot off the main trail, the ridge line trail, and that scrambled up the rocks. We couldn't find it, so my husband just ended up staying at one spot, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go to the end, around the corner. I'm just gonna go around the corner and see if I can't find it, and see if I can find the trail that goes up to the rock scramble. And I just kept going and going, and he was like, we need to turn back. But I finally found it, and then that trail said it was a quarter mile, and so I was like, I found it. So we went up really quickly because I was like, I need to get something out of this hike, because the hike was pretty grueling. I was kind of surprised. I was like, if we go down right now without going to the top of the rock, going to the top of the rock outcropping, this whole hike will be a waste and we'll just both be mad. So we ended up going up, and there was several scenic points along the little quarter-mile trail up the rock scramble. And then there's a little footbridge, a little wooden footbridge that crossed between the rocks so people could get safely across, which was nice. And then you kind of have to climb up a little bit of rocks. No rock climbing, I guess, but you're gonna need both hands, and it's definitely not a kid or dog-friendly hike. And then we looked at the actual Big Schloss part. There were some rocks that were piled up that looked like they were gonna tip over in the next earthquake or something. So I was like, I'm not gonna crawl on those, because I mean, they literally looked like they were very unstable. So, but anyway, I would give this hike probably a 2 out of 5. It was just not worth it. The view was the only good part at the very end, and there just weren't very many views along the actual hike itself. Amount of bugs, and it may have been the season, amount of rock shards along the trail that we were rolling our ankles on and stuff was pretty aggravating. I mean, I'm used to that for part of a trail, but most trails don't have that many rocks, and it was just, it was super annoying. And good thing we didn't bring our dogs, because we would have had to turn around or carry them, which wouldn't have happened. But yeah, never going back there again. Gonna check out a waterfall hike for our next hike.